Hello, this is KeefCooks. I'm Keef, and today I'm going to do something a little bit fancy. I'm going to make a Chicken Wellington. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Before I do that, some shout outs to a couple of people who have bought mugs. One to Jordan Morgan, who tweeted me a photo of his, very nice, and also to Ian Tully, who said he was going to buy one. I don't know if he actually has. I have no means of knowing who's buying these things. I have sold more than two. So if you do want a shout out and you have bought one, just let me know and I'll do it. And if you want one of these, look on the shelf below the video. Okay, Chicken Wellington. We've all heard of Beef Wellington, which is a big chunk of very expensive beef wrapped in usually ham and mushroom Duxelles and then puff pastry and baked and sliced, and it's wonderful if you get it right. It's not easy to get it right, I have to say. So I googled Chicken Wellington, and basically they're not inspiring. You know, people have just basically wrapped one chicken breast in pastry and baked it, and it's naff. I want to do something grandiose and spectacular, so I'm going to do a core of sage and onion stuffing, wrap that in chicken, wrap that in ham, and then do the mushroom Duxelles and the pastry and stuff and a lattice. So it'll be grand. Anyway, if you enjoy this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, ding-a-ding-ding, etc. And let's get on with it. Chicken Wellington. Right, I'm going to start by making the stuffing because that needs to be chilled right down and formed into a sausage. I'm cheating, I'm using ready-made. I'm just using half this pack, so follow the instructions. That's half the pack of flavoured breadcrumbs, basically. And I need 212 ml of boiling water. So pop that in the bowl. I'll just do it in 2 stages. Mixy. Make sure you don't get any clumps of mixture that hasn't dissolved in water, because that'd be horrible. I'll set that aside to cool down till it's stopped steaming, and then I'll put it in the fridge to cool down even more. Okay, so after about 10-15 minutes the stuffing is cool enough to handle. So I've got some cling film. Oh! A condescending little shout out to Tesco's, who have finally designed a dispenser that doesn't fall apart after a few uses. Watch me break it. There you go. So it's, you know, because they've fixed the ends properly, and that is really cool. So thank you, Tesco. Right, and it's sticky. Let's get our stuffing, and I want well, make a sausage. Okay, one stuffing sausage, so I'm going to put that in the freezer. I don't want to freeze it solid, but I do want it to be very, very firm. For the pastry, I'm going to use hot water pastry because I like it. You could also use short crust, or you could buy some rough puff pastry. So I need 375 grams of plain all-purpose flour and about 3/4 teaspoon of salt. So I've got 110 grams of lard cut into chunks so it melts more quickly, and 125 ml of water. So I'll just pop that on the stove, let the water heat up and the lard melt. If you can't get lard, you can use any hard fat. You can use butter, margarine, shortening, dripping, whatever. Anything that's solid at room temperature, not oil. So the fat is all melted in the water. I'm going to add half of that to the flour and stir it in. Then we'll add the rest. Alright, that's pretty dry. I'm going to just add a tad more water. Just get the hands in there. It's not actually boiling hot now, so that's all right. If it is boiling hot, don't put your hand in it. All right, that's nice. That's what we want. So I'm going to wrap that in cling film. And set that aside to cool down to room temperature. Now I'm going to make the mushroom Duxelles. So you need mushrooms. I've got 300 grams of fairly big mushrooms and a small onion or a couple of small shallots. So these are nice and clean, they don't need rinsing. Now you want to chop them into little dice about 3 millimeters, about 1/8 of an inch. Or you can do this in a food processor, just blitz them. Don't over process them or you'll end up with a paste. Or pulse them in a blender, but our blender has had it. Just run your knife over it and chop any big bits. Okay, that took a while. Now you want to cut your onion or your shallots to about the same size dice. Now we're going to make the Duxelles. I've got a big frying pan. I'm going to add a big dollop of butter, and when that's melted I'll add the chopped onion and just let that cook gently for about 5 minutes. We want it softened but not brown. And then we can add the mushrooms. Stir those now and again, and we want as much moisture to come out of them as possible. It might take 10-15 minutes to get rid of it all. When you've reached a stage where there's no more liquid in the bottom of the pan, season the mushrooms with salt and pepper and then set aside, and when it's cooled down somewhat you can put it in the fridge until you need it. Right, here's my stuffing roll. Very firm but not frozen solid, so that's okay. Now I've got 650 grams of chicken breasts, which I didn't carve off a chicken myself. Yay. So, wow, that's a thick one. We need to flatten it, well, we need to butterfly them and flatten them. And try not to cut all the way through. If you can keep it in one piece, that's best. Okay. Some of them have just got a teeny bit of fat on, so I'll just trim that off. So we'll just sandwich it in cling film and bash it with something heavy. So we're not aiming to make them really flat, we just want to make them kind of an even thickness. Okay, so I'm going to wrap the stuffing in chicken. Now the slightly tricky bit is I want to get this evened out into a nice smooth roll. So it's going to involve a lot of cling film. Just get rid of these, wash them, wash my hands. Twizzle. Okay, and I'll put that in the freezer for half an hour to chill. Right, I'm ready to put it all together, so I need to measure this. That's 25 centimetres, 10 inches. And the girth, that's 23 centimetres, about 9 inches. I'll pop this back in the freezer while I'm messing about. So I'm going to sprinkle some flour on the worktop, cut a chunk of the pastry. That will be the lattice when we get to that stage. Take the rest of it and roll it into a big sheet. This is like designing a box for the chicken. Okay, I've cut the dough out. I need to extend these flaps a bit, I think. these will be the end pieces. Now I need to spread out the Duxelles across the central area. I actually thought I might have some left over that would go in a risotto or an omelette or something. Boy, was I wrong. Now I need to wrap the chicken roll in ham. So I've got this ultra processed stuff, purely because of its uniform thickness and squareness. Okay, here we go. Right, now I'll plop that on there. Woo. Actually, I'm going to fold up the ends first. Okay, now we can roll up the sides. I might have messed up my measurements here. Yes! I'm going to roll out another strip of pastry to go over there, and this will be the bottom, so it's alright. That'll do it. So, plenty of water to make it stick. Just pop it on and press it down. Okay, now I've got a shallow baking sheet with some greaseproof paper and some flour. And we'll just pop our chicken roll, or chicken welly, on there. I'm going to put that in the fridge because, well, actually, if I had more time, I would leave it for a couple of hours to really chill down. But yeah, we're up against it now. For the lattice, I've rolled out that blob of pastry that I've saved. This needs to be the length of the roll plus extra for the ends. And I've got my lattice roller. Affiliate link below if you want to buy one. I get a penny. So here we go. Press very hard and hold the pastry behind it. Whew. Right, there's the pastry expanded. That is not an easy thing to do. And this is the huge chicken welly. And this is a beaten egg with a bit of water. And I'm just going to paint the welly all over. Now I'll attempt to put the lattice on there. Drum roll, please. Pretty good. Now I've got the oven heating to 200 degrees Celsius for a fan convection oven. That's 220 for a conventional one, and that's gas 7. I'm just going to paint the glaze on these bits of lattice work as well. And that goes in the oven for 40 minutes and turn it around halfway through so it gets evenly browned all over. Okay, that looks a bit spectacular. We've got some juices dribbled out on this corner, so I better get this on a wire rack quickly to cool down before it starts going soggy. We're not having a soggy bottom today. And now it's taste test time with Mrs. KeefCooks. Hello.
Hello, darling.
Right.
He says he's nervous.
Well, you know, because I don't know what's inside.
I mean, doesn't it
Can
look
we just eat it like that?
amazing? Well, we can have pieces that are a lattice wide, or you could do on the diagonal. Go on, go crazy. Try the diagonal. Go on, try one across there.
Well, no, it has to be sort of in the middle. Okay.
Which bit's yours? Okay.
No, I haven't done the photo yet.
Oh, right.
Oh, it's the wrong way round.
What? Because Your fans can't see it. Here's a clever thing you can do. Look at that.
I have just had a sneak peek. Look at that.
Cool. It even looks cooked. Well, there's enough of it, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This week's meal.
I'm still getting through the focaccia. Oh.
Oh.
Way to my heart. Through pastry.
Oh yeah.
I have to say that mushroom Duxelles is one of my favourite things.
Because you're a vegetable.
I also like a good cheese butty, don't I?
Oh, you do.
Wow. Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay.
So go on, what else is in there? So that's chicken and stuffing, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So it's basically a roast dinner in a pie.
Without vegetable. Well, apart from that. Shrooms. Oh.
Is it cooked?
No, it's ham.
Oh,
The
that's
pink stuff is
reassuring.
ham.
The
It's
pink
not
stuff
raw
is ham.
chicken.
I suppose I should try some as well then.
You will? Oh, wow. Okay.
I must admit, most of what I'm getting is stuffing.
Oh, that's some chicken.
Better have some chicken. Oh, that is so tender.
Chicken tender. Oh. All right, that's
It's all very nice, but I really, really, really like the pastry. If I stay out till 2:45,
You?
will you lock the door?
Yeah.
Keefy, I love you. Keefy, I'll need you. When you're 64.
Going now. Ciao.